You're in the middle of making dinner. Your hands are covered in raw chicken, and it starts. That sound, that high-pitched, drawn-out, nails-on-a-chalkboard sound that makes every muscle in your body tense up. Mom, I want a snack. You say no. You've said no 3 times already. But the whining continues. It gets louder, more insistent. Your stress level is climbing, and you can feel your patience evaporating. So you do what every exhausted parent does. You give in, you wipe your hands, you get the snack, and the whining stops. Finally, peace for about 15 minutes until it starts again. You've tried everything. You've tried explaining. You've tried distraction. You've tried the calm voice your pediatrician recommended. You've tried the stern voice. Last Tuesday, I was on a work call when my daughter started whining for juice. I mouthed 5 minutes and pointed to my headset. She got louder. I muted myself and whispered that she needed to wait. She escalated to crying. I finally just handed her the juice mid-sentence with my client because I couldn't focus on anything else. Every parenting book says to be consistent, but they don't tell you how to be consistent when that sound is literally designed by evolution to break you down. And here's what nobody's telling you. Every time you give in to the whining, you're running a training program. You're teaching your child exactly how long they need to whine, exactly what pitch works best, exactly how persistent they need to be to get what they want. But here's the thing. The problem isn't that you're giving in. The problem is that nobody's explained what's actually happening in your child's brain when they whine, why it's so effective at breaking you down, and how to respond in a way that doesn't reward the behavior while still meeting their needs. And that changes right now. Before we get into the science behind this, if you're dealing with constant whining and you're about to lose your mind, hit the like button and subscribe for more research-backed parenting strategies. Drop. I can't take it anymore in the comments if this is your life right now. Let's talk about what's really going on. I see you. I see the mom who's tried everything, who's read the articles about positive reinforcement and natural consequences, who's trying so hard to be the calm, patient parent you want to be. But you're also tired. You're touched out. You're overstimulated. And that whining sound hits your nervous system like a physical assault. Because it's supposed to. That's exactly what it's designed to do. You've gotten conflicting advice from everyone. My pediatrician told me to get down at eye level and validate my daughter's feelings every time she whined. 2 days later, my mom watched her for an hour and told me I was creating a drama queen by giving her so much attention. She said her generation just told kids to knock it off, and they did. I left that conversation feeling like a failure, no matter what I chose. Every piece of advice sounds reasonable, and every piece of advice seems to fail when you're standing there with a whining toddler attached to your leg while you're trying to cook dinner, answer work emails, and not completely lose it. You're not doing anything wrong. Your child isn't manipulative. Your child isn't broken. This isn't about your parenting ability. This is about understanding how reinforcement works in the developing brain and how to interrupt a pattern that's been accidentally created. Here's what's actually happening. And once you understand this, everything changes. So let's talk about what's going on in your child's brain. Your toddler's prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for emotional regulation, impulse control, and using words to express complex feelings, is still under construction. It won't be fully developed until they're in their mid-20s. Right now, when they want something and they can't have it, they're experiencing genuine distress. Their amygdala, the emotional center of the brain, is firing. They're flooded with big feelings, and they don't have the neurological equipment yet to manage those feelings independently. So they whine. And here's the wild part. Research from the University of Wisconsin found that whining is scientifically proven to be more distracting to the adult brain than any other sound, including a baby's cry or a table saw. The specific frequency of a child's whine activates your amygdala too. It triggers your stress response. It makes it nearly impossible to concentrate on anything else. Your child has accidentally discovered the most effective tool for getting your attention and breaking down your resistance. Now here's where conventional wisdom fails you. Most advice tells you to ignore the whining and only respond when they use their nice voice. But here's what's actually happening when you try that approach. Your child is in distress. They escalate. The whining gets louder, more persistent, more desperate. Your nervous system is being hammered, and eventually you break. You respond. And in that moment, you've just taught them something critical. If you whine long enough, loud enough, desperately enough, you eventually get what you want. The American Academy of Pediatrics and developmental psychologists have known for decades that intermittent reinforcement, giving in sometimes but not always, creates the strongest behavioral patterns. It's the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. Every time you hold firm for 20 minutes and then give in on minute 21, you're teaching your child to whine for at least 21 minutes. You're making the behavior stronger, not weaker. So let's talk about the specific mistakes that are making the whining worse. And I'm going to walk you through each one so you can see exactly what to do differently. The first mistake? You're responding to the whining itself. Even negative attention is attention. When you say, stop whining or use your nice voice, you're giving the whining exactly what it wants, your focus. Your child's brain doesn't differentiate between positive and negative attention. It just registers. I whined, and Mom looked at me, talked to me, engaged with me. The whining worked. What you want to do instead is completely neutral. No eye contact, no response, no acknowledgement that the whining is happening. You continue what you're doing as if the whining is just background noise. The second they switch to a regular voice, even if it's still demanding, you respond immediately. Oh, I can hear you now. You're asking for a snack. Dinner is in 30 minutes, so the answer is no, but I hear you asking. The second mistake is explaining your reasoning to a whining child. When they're whining, they're not in a brain state where they can process logic. Their emotional brain is in charge. Their thinking brain is offline. Save the explanations for when they're calm. In the moment of whining, you need exactly one sentence, delivered calmly, one time. I'll be happy to talk about this when you're using your regular voice. Then you stop. No repeating, no justifying, no negotiating. One sentence, then silence. Third, you're accidentally rewarding the whining by giving in to different requests. Your child whines for a snack. You say no. They keep whining. You stay firm on the snack. But then you offer a hug or you turn on the TV to distract them. You think you held the boundary because they didn't get the snack. But here's what's actually happening in their brain. They whined and something changed. Mom responded. Mom did something. The whining achieved a result. At 2 years old, this becomes a pattern. By kindergarten, this manifests as negotiation through whining. By middle school, you've got a kid who's learned that persistence through an annoying behavior eventually wears down authority figures. Fourth, you're accidentally teaching them that whining works on a delay. Your child whines for screen time. You say no. They whine for 15 minutes. You hold firm. They finally give up and go play. 20 minutes later, you feel guilty about how the interaction went. You want to reconnect. So you say, hey, do you want to watch one show before dinner? You think you're being kind, but here's what they learned. Whine for 15 minutes. Wait 20 minutes. Get what you wanted. The whining worked. It just worked on a delay. If they whined for something and you said no, that thing needs to be completely off the table for at least 2 hours. The fifth mistake, you're not teaching them what to do instead. Stop whining isn't an instruction, it's a complaint. Your child doesn't actually know what you want them to do differently. Every single time you refuse to engage with whining, you also need to immediately show them what does work. The second they use a normal voice, even if the answer is still no, you respond with warmth and attention. Thank you for asking with your regular voice. I can hear you so much. Better now. The answer is still no to a snack right now, but I really appreciate you asking nicely. You're creating a clear contrast. Whining gets nothing. Asking appropriately gets my attention and a real response, even if that response is no. So let's get practical. Here's exactly what I want you to do starting today. First, you're going to create a clear verbal cue that you'll use consistently. Something like, I can help you when you use your regular voice, or I can listen when you're talking, not whining. Pick one sentence, just one. Say it once, calmly, the first time they whine. Then you stop talking. You don't repeat it. You don't elaborate. You don't explain. One sentence, then your mouth closes. Second, you're going to practice planned ignoring. Planned ignoring doesn't mean abandoning your child emotionally. It means you stay physically present, you stay calm, but you give zero attention to the whining. You don't look at them. You don't respond. You continue whatever you're doing. You're making dinner. They start whining. You say your one sentence, I can help you when you use your regular voice. Then you continue chopping vegetables. They escalate. You keep chopping. No eye contact, no sighs, no body language that shows you're affected. The second they switch to a normal voice, you turn toward them, you make eye contact, and you engage. Yes, I can hear you now. What do you need? Also, you're going to start catching them using their regular voice proactively. Throughout the day, when they ask for something without whining, you're going to give massive positive reinforcement. I love the way you just asked for that. Your voice was so clear and I could hear exactly what you needed. You're building up the alternative behavior with tons of attention and praise. Another thing, you need to address the underlying needs that often drive whining. Most whining happens when kids are hungry, tired, overstimulated, or disconnected from you. This means regular snacks, predictable sleep schedules, and dedicated one-on-one time where they have your full attention. 15 minutes of fully present playtime, where you're down on the floor, phone away, genuinely engaged, will eliminate hours of attention-seeking whining. Finally, prepare yourself for the extinction burst. For the first 3 to 5 days, the whining is going to get worse before it gets better. This is called an extinction burst, and it's a normal part of breaking any learned behavior. Your child is going to pull out every tool they have. The whining will be louder, longer, more persistent, more desperate. This is actually a sign that what you're doing is working. If you can stay consistent through the extinction burst, the whining will dramatically decrease by day 7. Most parents give up on day 3 or 4, right before the breakthrough. Don't be most parents. You're going to know this is working when you notice the whining episodes getting shorter. When you see them catch themselves mid-whine and switch to a regular voice. When they start asking for things appropriately the first time, without the whining warm-up. These are your signs of progress. So here's what we've covered. Whining works because you've accidentally taught it to work. Every time you give in, every time you engage with it, every time you respond even negatively, you're reinforcing the behavior. Your child isn't manipulative. They've just learned a pattern, and you can teach them a different pattern by refusing to reward the whining and immediately rewarding the alternative. I know this is hard. I know that sound drills into your skull and makes you want to do anything to make it stop. Change is hard. Staying consistent when you're exhausted is hard. Riding out that extinction burst when the whining gets worse before it gets better is really hard. You might worry that you're being mean. You might worry that you're ignoring their needs. That's normal. You haven't failed because your child whines. You haven't created a monster. You haven't done anything wrong. You've been doing your best with the information you had, but now you know better. Now you understand what's actually happening in their brain and in yours. Now you can change the pattern. Here's what I want you to do today, right now, before the next whining episode. Pick your one sentence. Practice saying it calmly, out loud, 3 times. I can help you when you use your regular voice. Get it in your muscle memory. Then, the next time the whining starts, use it. 1 time. Then close your mouth and wait. Just try it once. See what happens. You might be amazed at how quickly they adjust when the pattern genuinely changes. 2 weeks from now, you're going to be sitting with a friend whose child is whining, and you're going to realize your child hasn't whined in days. And you're going to remember this moment, watching this video, feeling desperate and exhausted and convinced nothing would ever change. And you're going to know that you did that. You broke the pattern. You taught them a better way. You changed the entire dynamic of your household by understanding one simple principle. Behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. And behavior that stops getting rewarded eventually stops. If this resonated with you, hit the like button to help other exhausted parents find this video. Subscribe for more science-backed parenting strategies that actually work in real life. And drop a comment letting me know what your go-to sentence is going to be. We're all in this together. You've got this.